What up, party people? I am Erika with Exactly Erika. Welcome to my channel. Today we're talking 90 Day Fiancé, Season 11, Episode 16. Love is on the line. This is sort of the the day before all the weddings take place. So they're trying to add some drama, but still a little dry. But all right, you guys, let's get into it.
Tired of pretending, let them get the best of me. Whoa, 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 give me a break. The game is survival. Give me a break and play my arrival. I want a happy ending. Tired of pretending.
All right, what up, what up, what up? Okay, this is going to be a pretty quick video because I don't really feel like that much popped off this episode. But overall, I think I would give the episode maybe 6.5. Better than average, but not all of that. In the comments, you guys, rate the overall what your thoughts are on this episode, and let's get into it. So, in the thumbnail, I have pictures of Mina. So, let's start off with Mark and Mina. All righty. Okay. So let's start off with Mark and Mina. So in this episode, we know Mina's sister is here, and I love them. Mina's sister doesn't want to eat American bread, which I didn't even realize. Like, if I ate baguettes, could I start eating bread again? That would be great. But Mina is very worried that her son Clayton will not come to the wedding. They're trying to get his visas papers. Let me know what you guys think. This is very much giving me Jasmine and Gino. Like, I have to kind of somewhat give Mark a side eye and wonder, did he really do all the right paperwork? Why is there so much confusion? Is this production? Is this just the way of immigration? Or is there something more here? Needless to say, uh, Mark and Mina go to the venue because they're going to get married, I think, the next day or the next couple of days. And the venue is gorgeous. It's very, very lovely. Mina loves the venue, but then she gets a call from her friend Nancy and basically letting her know Clayton can't make it. And Mina is absolutely devastated. And what I think is even more sad is they haven't told Clayton yet. So Clayton is devastated. Mina is like, I can't get married. And Mark is kind of like, huh? What? Now that you don't sign that prenup, we needs to get married. So, I'm not sure. I haven't Googled. I assume they did get married, but she is very devastated this episode with the news that Clayton cannot make it. Let's moving right along. All right. The next couple we're going to talk about. Oh, Joan and Greg. Let's see. Let me get there. Here we go. Joan and Greg. So I will say, um, I got to do better with these, with the lettering here. I will say this. So Greg really steps it up this episode. Now that he's got a job, he does not seem to be like an entire man baby. So because Joan does not have her family coming in, he really goes all out, I think, for her to feel included, and more importantly for her culture to be included in part of his life, and I really commend him for that. So even though he couldn't find true Ugandan wear, he found Nigerian wedding wear, and that's what he wore, for the rehearsal dinner. So he's wearing it and she's wearing this gorgeous gown, and they both look absolutely fabulous. Let me know what you guys think about this. He also had African food catered. And what I really liked is I liked Greg's friends in that they just seemed very supportive and welcoming. I think really his mom was the only one kind of asking all the questions. Is this going to be spicy? What? I can't believe you wore this. So the mom is still a little bit of a hater, But because they were willing to help pay for the wedding, it gave Greg the opportunity to really step up and show Joan something special. So that's what I really liked about this episode. And so one of the things he did was the outfit, which I thought Joan looked absolutely amazing. The food looked great. But he also, move on to the next photo. Here we go. He also hired African dancers, and that was so nice. Everybody was kind of just looking. Joan got out there and, she did her little African twerk or whatever, but she really felt loved. And that is what really shined through. So cheers to Greg for growing up. Now at the very end of the episode, we find out that in sending out the invitations, Greg has the start time the same time that he's supposed to be taking his vows. So that was an issue, or that is an issue. His mother stepped in. They're trying to call everyone to ask them to get there early so they won't actually be walking in during Joan's vows. While it does seem stressful, it's not quite a deal breaker, and I'm sure they can push it back. It might be a little extra money, but you make mistakes, you pay the price. But outside of that, great job, Greg. I love the African dancers. I love the food. I love the American family and friends actually making an effort to include the other person's culture. So I really liked that. So I'm moving right along. Okay, so since we're talking about culture, let's go to Juan and Jessica since they had a lack of inclusion. Let's see, do I have their photo here? Overlay. Here we go. Okay, so as we know, in the last couple episodes, Juan has heard back from the ships, but he chose his family, wants to be with his family, although we all know he really wants to be on the ship. So now we come to terms because I think they're in, where are they? South Dakota, which is really, I don't know, does it get whiter than South Dakota? I can't imagine where that would be, but it's white. So so Juan is worried that his Colombian culture will not be included. And specifically, the thing he brings up in this episode is Jessica told him that she was going to learn Spanish. I don't know why she lied, but she, she can say, I think she can say welcome, but yeah, I think that's where she stopped. So her Spanish is borderline trash. And he's upset because between her children, her other boys, he's the only person in the house that will speak Spanish, and his son will therefore not learn Spanish and not be able to communicate with his family back in Colombia. And I would agree. Basically, you are raising you a little white boy right now. So he tries to bring it to her attention, and let's see, let me hide that for a minute. So, you know, so he takes her, to the back so they can have a discussion about it. And she's kind of blowing it off. She's like, what are you trying to say? If I don't learn Spanish, you won't marry me? And this is the night before their wedding. Now, he has told us in the confessionals, like, that's how he feels. But obviously, she ain't going to learn Spanish overnight. So, and she, in her head, she was like, well, I've been ain't knowing. Why are you bringing it up now? So you can tell by her attitude, she doesn't really care if her son knows the culture. She doesn't even really care. I don't think she's going to learn Spanish, to be honest. Um, that being said, though, Juan, if you want it to be a part of your son's life, then you got to really make that effort. And by choosing not to go back to the ships and staying there, maybe you can convince the other kids to learn Spanish. I mean, they're young enough, it might not be too bad, or too challenging for them. But I think if you're moving in to be a father to her other children, then the least they could do out there in South Dakota because there's probably not a lot of Colombians out there, is try to embrace your language and your culture. So we'll see. Um, I don't think she's gonna do it, but maybe Jessica will surprise us. All right, moving right along. All right, let's talk the thruple. Let's see, where are they? Amani, Ani, and Matt. So, the end of last episode, maybe the beginning of this episode, or was it last episode? I'm not sure. But Ani comes clean in the fact that she was in an abusive relationship. Excuse me. And that's basically why she didn't tell them her name was Brenda. And they sort of buy it. So they've been pressuring her, pressuring her, pressuring her. You got to come clean to your family. And so she agrees to come clean. And so they go to visit her aunt because sadly, very much like Juan, um, they don't have her appearance have passed on. So she has an aunt and she has a brother. So they go there and they're going to tell. So she, at first, I guess she told her aunt and everyone that she's coming with her boyfriend and one of her friends. Then she gets there and she drops the bomb on her family. Now, one thing I will say is that um, her aunt was very shocked. You know, her aunt gave her that look like, what? All three of y'all together in the bed? That's what I want to know. They gonna have like Seeking Sister Wives. Are they gonna have a big bed? That's my question. But her aunt was very, very shocked. Now, on a side note, I'm kind of like, although this is shocking, and both the aunt and the brother, because the brother and his wife both gave her the crazy eye, right here. Like, what is you talking about? Um, but the question I have is, she been a stripper for how many years? Because she's basically a stripper. So I can see, obviously, a being in a throuple is not the same as stripping, but it does seem like you have a very risque, not very. I mean, I guess she's. I don't know. I guess she's religious, but I feel like she was already living her life on the edge. So I understand that they were shocked, but you know, she's out there taking off her clothes for money. So she has done other things that are shocking, and you all accepted her. So in this case, in the end, her aunt was shocked. It goes against their religion, but at the end of the day, she accepted it and she hugged Amani because she saw that Amani really loved for Ani. Now, we all know Matt is just trying to get him some from a little bit of everybody, but it does seem like Amani and Ani do have a really deep relationship. But let me know what you guys think. I think that I'm still not really feeling a connection between her and Matt. I don't know if it's because he smashed too soon, too quick on that first night, but yeah, I feel like Ani really likes Amani, and Amani really likes Ani, and then Matt is just there for the ride. But let me know what y'all think in the comments below. All right, before we move on to the next couple, I didn't take photos of what's their name? Are they in here? Shekinah and Sarper. So I'll just uh, go over them real quick. Let me put them back up. Okay, so for Shekinah and Sarper, basically she had a dinner with friends or whatever. One of her friends was like, "Oh, this season everybody signed a prenup. Why nobody is actually getting lawyers to review the prenup, I don't really know, but that's what they're doing. So everybody's signing the prenup, and Sarper is upset because Shekinah just is like, yeah, that's great. Maybe I'll do that. So Sarper like storms off, and I think this is the day before their wedding. And so she's trying to call him. He's not picking up her calls because he just needs space to think. And I think at some point he even talks to his family and they're like, she doesn't trust you, blah, blah, blah. We don't want you to break down like you did the last time you got married. So just stay sane and continue to call us, right? Continue with the FaceTime, is pretty much what his family says. So he goes to a coffee shop. Now we find out, just like on every good Love After Lockup episode, she has put a tracker on Sarper so she knows where he is. So she opens the tracker and finds out he's at a coffee shop and starts heading her booty that way. So that's pretty much all that happened with them this episode. So no real reason for a photo, I don't think. Uh, let's see. Let's move on to our next couple. All right, let's hide them. Hide Chikita and Sarper. And honestly, why are they still on the show? I feel like some some people, as we know, will ride the 90-day fiance till the wheels fall off. And Sarper and Shekinah are turning into be that couple. All right. So now let's move on to, we finished with the threesome. The threesome. The threesome. All right. So last but not least, let's talk Aaliyah and Sean. So Aaliyah also should have gotten an attorney, but she does end up signing the prenup, and Sean is very happy, and it's the day of their wedding. And so Sean is let's see, let's go to the next picture. Sean is helping his mom get ready. Let's hide this so we can see it. So Sean is helping his mom get ready. And can I make this bigger? I guess not. Let's see. What happens if we do this? Oh, that's not what I want. Let's bring it down. Okay, Sean is helping his mother get ready, and Aaliyah goes to a house or wherever, some sort of rental that they have, and one of her girlfriends goes with her. Now, what I don't understand is the girlfriend goes with her, but is of absolutely no help at all. She basically is pouring drinks and cracking jokes the whole time. And we all know that Aaliyah has issues with time. Aaliyah is basically on CP time for the those of us who know what CP time is. So maybe we'll call it BP, brown people time, but that's the time that Aaliyah is on. And during while all this is happening, Sean's mother, after he does her hair, she falls and she has like a really bad injury. And she probably really needs to go to the hospital, but of course, she's not going to miss her son's wedding. So basically, one of Sean's friends goes to pick her up. They have a wheelchair. Everything is saved. So it turns out to be okay. But then finally, they're out there, gorgeous. Everything is gorgeous. Now, I will say, what did you guys think about Aaliyah's dress? I mean, I know she's trans or she's going through a transition, but she had a gorgeous dress on, but it showed all of the goodies from the bottom to the top. And I just don't know. Whoever I'm marrying, I don't know if I need, the entire wedding party to see your panties. I am just saying, but let me know what you all thought. Although she did look fabulous, but she took too long. So they're out there. It's 104 feet. His poor mama got her foot up on a chair, trying not to fall out, drinking ice. The dog, the big old fluffy dog, is sitting in the shade, trying not to fall out. Sean is wearing all black, so he is cranky, wearing all black with sparkles in the sun, and it's 104 feet, 104 heat. And his friends, such as Blaze, start to make jokes like, "Are you sure she even coming? Does she know?" Which I'm kind of like, well, y'all know she was 2 hours late to the engagement party, so y'all know you need to have a real time and a fake time. That's what you do with people on CP time. You don't give them the real start time. You give them the suggested start time, but the people who actually know when to arrive come at the real start time. So, but Sean didn't know this. So he is out there in his black and his sparkles getting musty and upset. So he basically 2 hours. I think the food was supposed to be served at 6:30. It's now 7 o'clock. The food is someplace probably trying not to get salmonella, and everybody's hot and sweaty and musty. And Aaliyah is still back there trying to step into her dress with all her assets showing. So at this point, Sean says, I'm over it. I'm done. He gives her the deuces. He decides to do one of these numbers. Yeah, yeah, you guys. He decides to run. He decides to leave. And I guess he's going to, in the preview, we see him going to the house, but he's basically like, I don't care what you signed. You made me wait 2 hours. I am melting in a black suit. So the party's over. And you got to understand when you are in your 20s and you're married a senior citizen, they be getting mad. So Sean gets stank and upset with good reason, though, because 2 hours in black in the sun is a lot. And Sean was not there for it. So anyway, you guys, thank you for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway, if you're still here, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys. Oh, before I say that, I will say be true, be you, be great, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now, folks. Deuces.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks.